Before anyone says it's not under 20k, let me show you. I bought this tablet on Flipkart and after applying credit card offers, I paid under 20k. And here's the bill on the screen. This is my own money, not a sponsored unit. Now, let's move to the review. Hey everyone, I'm back with another video. And this time, it's the Redmi Pad Pro 5G, which is basically the same device as the Poco Pad 5G. It's currently the only tablet under 20k that offers dual 5G SIM support, and no wonder it's one of the best selling tab in India. But here's the thing. Most reviews highlight only the shiny parts. In this video, I'll give you the full, honest picture, the good, the bad, with proof and live demos obviously. And just to raise the bar, I'll even compare it with my iPad Air 5. Yes, they are different price segments, but that's exactly why this comparison makes sense. You will see what kind of value this tab actually delivers at this budget. So buckle up, this one's going to be fun. Let's open the box and see what Redmi is giving us this time. Inside the box you get the basics. The tablet itself, a 33 watt charging adapter, USB Type-C cable, SIM ejector and the usual paperwork. Pretty standard, nothing flashy. Now coming to the tablet itself, the build actually feels quite premium for the price. You get a solid metal back with slightly rounded corners, which makes it easier to hold. It weighs about 571 grams and is 7.5 mm thick. For context, iPad Air weighs only 461 grams and is thinner at 6.1 mm. So yes, the Redmi Pad Pro does feel a bit heavier in the hand, but keep this in mind, it's a big tablet. The good news, because of that size, the weight is actually well balanced. So it doesn't feel like you're doing an arm workout every time you use it. Side by side, it still holds up surprisingly well in terms of overall look and presence. Let's quickly go through the key specs. I'll keep it short and real. Powering the Redmi Pad Pro 5G is the Snapdragon 7S Gen 2. It's efficient and handles multitasking well. This variant gets 8GB RAM with 128GB storage plus support for up to 1.5TB expandable storage. The iPad Air doesn't support expandable storage. Whatever storage you buy, you're stuck with. Now the display, easily the highlight here. It's a 12.1-inch LCD panel, 120Hz adaptive refresh rate and up to 600 nits brightness. The iPad Air 5 has a smaller 10.9-inch LCD capped at 60Hz and around 500 nits brightness. It's also Dolby Vision certified, protected by Gorilla Glass 3 with multiple TUV eye protection certifications. The iPad Air isn't Dolby Vision and uses Apple's standard scratch-resistant glass. Cameras are pretty standard, 8MP on both sides. The iPad Air gives you a better 12MP front and rear setup, more reliable for video calls. The battery is a 10,000 mAh unit with 33 watt fast charging. The iPad Air has a smaller battery, roughly around 7600 mAh with a slower 20 watt charging. You also get 5G dual SIM support, Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2 running on Xiaomi's new HyperOS. The iPad Air supports 5G as well, but no dual SIM, and of course runs iPad OS. So yeah, that's everything it packs on paper. If you want to deep dive into the full spec sheet, I've dropped the link in the description. But specs are one thing. Now let's see how much of this actually survives the real world use. Let's start with the display, because that's the star of the show. The Redmi Pad Pro 5G hits up to 600 nits of brightness, which means you can actually use it outdoors without squinting like you're solving a math problem. I tried it under direct sunlight. Yes, there are some reflections, but the screen still stays bright and readable. In comparison, my iPad peaks at 500 nits and honestly struggles a bit more in the same conditions. So visibility wise, this one got a slight edge. Now, on to the picture quality. If you prefer natural, true-to-life colors, this display might be a hit or miss, depending upon the content. The color lean towards oversaturation, giving them a vibrant, punchy look that's great for movies and OTT content, but may not suit professional photo or video editing. The blacks are impressively deep, thanks to strong contrast and a solid dynamic range, making dark scenes look rich and immersive. The resolution delivers crisp details, though it's not entirely free of minor artifacts in fast-moving scenes. If you are a casual viewer who enjoys bold visual over precise color accuracy, this display will likely impress. On the other hand, the iPad has more accurate, toned-down colors. So if you prefer realism and color accuracy, the iPad is better. But if you enjoy bold, saturated visuals and bigger, smoother display, the Redmi Pad Pro definitely stands out. Then there is the 120Hz refresh rate, which keeps everything butter smooth. Scrolling, gaming, switching apps all feel super fluid. The only catch is you'll have to manually enable 120Hz from settings. The iPad is capped at 60Hz, so animation and scrolling don't feel as smooth as Redmi Tab. If you're someone who notices and appreciates that extra fluidity, the Redmi Pad Pro definitely has the upper hand here. Moving to audio, you get quad speakers with Dolby Atmos. And wow, they get loud. Like, don't test this near your sleeping family loud. The soundstage is wide. The bass has a nice punch and overall volume easily beats my iPad Air. But instead of me describing it, listen to this, first Redmi Pad Pro and then iPad Air. The iPad Air has only two real speakers, one on the top edge and one on the bottom. It does give you stereo sound in landscape, but the bass isn't as deep, the volume isn't as strong, and those extra side grills are mostly there for aesthetics. At max volume, you might notice a bit distortion in Redmi Pad, but honestly, the overall audio experience is miles ahead of most tablets in this price range, and still louder and richer than the iPad Air. Now for connectivity, this thing's got 5G dual SIM support and Wi-Fi 6, and both performs like champs. I don't have a 5G SIM slot on my iPad, so I can't do a direct 5G speed comparison. But I did test 5G extensively on the Redmi Pad Pro, and speeds were solid, stable, and perfectly usable for streaming, downloads, and even hotspot style usage on the go. On Wi-Fi though, I tested both tablets side by side on the same network. The Redmi consistently pulled better download speed and lower latency, as you can see in my test videos. I even took both tablets farther away from my router, almost to the edge of my building, just to see which one holds the signal better. And even there, the Redmi Pro was maintaining higher speeds and stronger connectivity, while the iPad Air started dropping off. So purely on connectivity and range, the Redmi Pro definitely holds its ground. And in real world conditions, it actually performs better than the iPad. When it comes to multitasking, the iPad Air with the M1 chip is clearly more capable, which is expected given the price range. That said, this tablet still performs remarkably well for its segment. It handled multiple apps smoothly with zero reloads during my test of 10 commonly used apps, which shows how good the memory management is. In my video, I also compared app opening times and reload behavior between this and the iPad Air, and the result was surprisingly close. Both tablets kept all apps active without refreshing. So even though the iPad Air is technically more powerful, the Redmi Pad Pro still delivers a seamless multitasking experience. Now for battery, The Redmi Pad Pro's 5G's 10,000 mAh battery delivers impressive endurance. In my mixed usage test, I got around 9 hours of screen on time. I played 1080p YouTube videos, watched Hotstar, browsed Instagram, and even ran heavy games like Asphalt and FIFA at 75% brightness with the 120Hz refresh rate on, and it still held up strong. This makes it great for all-day streaming, gaming, or long social media sessions, as you can see in the video. I got more than 8 hours of screen on time on my usage. As for comparing it to the iPad Air, it wouldn't be fair. My iPad is over 2 years old now, and the battery health has dropped quite a bit. I currently get around 4 hours of screen on time, which isn't representative of how the iPad Air performed when new. So purely on my experience, the iPad Pro is giving me significantly better endurance right now. But keep in mind that part of that gap is due to battery aging on that iPad. And now, charging speed. This is where Redmi completely wipes the floor. The 10,000 mAh battery goes from 0 to 100% in about 95 to 100 minutes using the included 33-watt charger. For context, my iPad Air takes well over 2 hours to fully charge its smaller battery. So if you are someone who needs a quick top-up before a flight, class or a meeting, the Redmi Pad Pro is a clear winner here. A few other small but meaningful wins. Triple eye care certification. So if you are watching for hours at night, your eyes will thank you. A 3.5mm headphone jack. Yes, that still exists here. HyperOS is refreshingly clean with no bloatware or unnecessary junk apps. That's rare for an Android tablet, and honestly happy about it. And it even supports the Xiaomi Smart Pen and microSD expansion up to 1.5TB. Creative users will love that. So yeah, overall, it nails the basics and even over-delivers in some areas. Display, sound, connectivity and charging are all top-notch for the price. There's a lot to like here, but if you're planning to buy, there are a few things you need to be aware of. The Snapdragon 7S Gen 2 does a fine job with the day-to-day stuff. Browsing Netflix, classes, even light gaming runs smooth. But once you fire up something heavy like Genshin Impact or PUBG Mobile on high settings, things start to shake a little bit. You'll notice frame drops and occasional stutters. Drop the graphics one level and it becomes playable, but definitely not the experience hardcore gamers look for. Compared to the iPad Air's M1, it handles these games much more consistently at higher settings. So if gaming is a priority, the iPad still has a clear edge. And yes, during longer gaming or editing sessions, the Redmi Pad Pro does warm up. It doesn't overheat or throttle heavily, but feel the warm patch on the back if you're holding it for long durations. I get it, no one's buying a tablet for its camera, but still you'd expect at least decent quality for video calls or online classes. The 8MP cameras on the Redmi Pad Pro 5G are pretty average. Photos lack sharpness and accurate colors, and even in good lighting, images tend to look a bit soft and slightly grainy. For Zoom or Google Meet, it's usable, but if you're expecting crisp detail, my videos and photo sample will show you exactly why this setup feels a generation behind. So yeah, camera hairs get the job done, but don't expect them to impress. Now here's something I didn't expect. The display is a fingerprint and dust magnet. Within minutes, it starts looking greasy because the oleophobic coating isn't very strong. You'll find yourself wiping it constantly, especially if you're using it without a case or in bright lighting. Compared to my iPad Air, the difference is obvious. The iPad's coating handles smudges much better, so it stays cleaner for longer. My advice? Get a good tempered glass right away, not just for protection, but also to cut down on smudges and glare. Next one hurts the most. There is no fingerprint sensor. You're stuck with face lock or a passcode, and face lock works fine until it's dark or you're wearing a mask. Having to type a code every single time feels unnecessarily dated, especially when cheaper tablets now offer basic fingerprint scanners. And as someone who uses the fingerprint sensor on my iPad regularly, this felt like a huge miss. It's one of the small quality of life features you only realize the importance of once it's gone. So yeah, none of these are deal breakers, but they do stop the Redmi Pad Pro 5G from being perfect. But that brings us to the next part, the verdict. So, should you buy the Redmi Pad Pro 5G? Honestly, for under 20k, this thing punches way above its weight. You're getting a big, beautiful 120Hz display, loud quad speakers, great connectivity, strong battery life, and a premium metal build, all at a price that undercuts most competitors. The Redmi Pad Pro 5G is honestly one of the best value tablets you can buy right now. It's perfect for students, content consumers, casual gamers, creators using lightweight apps, online classes, binge watching, and anyone who wants a reliable everyday tablets without spending iPad money. But, and this is important, it's not for everyone. If you're someone who needs raw power for heavy video editing or 4K timelines, pro level creative apps like Final Cuts, Procreate, or Logic, higher end cameras for content work or frequent video calls, or consistently smooth performance in demanding games, the Redmi Pad Pro 5G shines in value and practicality, not sheer performance. And for most people using a tablet for entertainment, studies, multitasking, or productivity, it delivers way more than its price suggests. So yes, it's not perfect, but for what you're paying, it comes very, very close. And that wraps up my full review of the Redmi Pad Pro 5G. Got questions? Drop them in the comments. And if you already own this tablet, share your experience. Let's help the confused buyer together. Thanks for watching. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe.